You know how much I love TV and film, quality TV and film. And joining us, we love telling the stories of our local talent. And it doesn't get bigger than Brad Ingelsby and Jeremiah Zagar. Let's welcome to the program. Hello, boys.
How you doing, Anthony? How you doing?
Hey, Anthony.
Great to see you guys. I am so excited. I watched the trailer for Task, and it just looks incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. I love listen, part of date night is getting something quality to dive into, and this looks spectacular, guys. Um, Brad, I'll start with you. What can you tell us about the project? Mark Ruffalo, incredible actor. The whole thing just pops. What could you tell us about the show?
Yeah, Anthony, it's another crime show that's set primarily in Delaware County, and Ruffalo plays an FBI agent who's sort of not on the front lines anymore. Has had a crisis in the family unit, and he gets called into action unexpectedly to investigate a string of armed robberies in the area that pits him against a trash worker played by Tom Pelfrey, and it's a kind of collision course, in the vein of Heat, I would say, of a cop and a robber, and I think it's a collision course in which you love both of these men, and so the tension and the fear comes from understanding or starting to understand, oh wow, these guys are going to collide eventually, and I'm nervous to see what's going to happen.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Little Heat-esque. Jeremiah, how much fun did you have with this project? And when Brad came to you, I love these two local heavyweights coming together to give us this project.
Yeah, man. How did I get HBO called me? I'd been talking to HBO for a while about doing something together, and Francesca Orsi at HBO, she's sort of been a big proponent of mine for a long time, and she said, "I got this show for you. You got to read it." And I was away on vacation. I was like in the Azores or something, some crazy place, and I read it on the plane. And I was sick as a dog, like sick, like I had a cold, and I got on Zoom just like this with Brad, and we had been meaning to like meet for like a long time because we're both Philly people. There aren't that many Philly, people working in this industry. There's some, but not a ton. And so friends mutual connect us. And I was like, I really dig this, and Brad was like, you should do it. And it was very sweet. He was very like kind, and he really was like effusive about one, and he knew my work. Sometimes you get on calls, people don't even know your work. But Brad knew everything, and was incredibly collaborative from like that call. Was just like, I remember Brad saying this. He said to me, I said, are the scripts locked? Or can I have any input? Like, can we make this thing together as a team? And Brad said, for me, it's best idea wins. That was his mantra, which is still his mantra. Yeah.
I love
true,
that, Brad. I love it. You know what? It's your sports background, man. It's the idea of team and winning collaboratively, right? In the collective.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I'd seen Jeremiah's work. I knew what he could bring to the story that I couldn't. He's such a humanist, and I'd watched his films, and I know how incredibly talented he is. Why wouldn't I want input from a guy like that who could illuminate the characters in a way I can't? And, it was such a great work experience. We hit it off from the jump, and now we're like amazing friends. It's the best work experience I've ever had. And look, we all want the show to be great, and we all want a lot of people to watch the show. But what I always say to Jeremiah is, I'm so proud of the way we made the show and the
Uh,
friendship that we created along the way. So I want it to be a great success. I want people to watch it, but I will take a lot out of the process as well.
well, Jeremiah, let's talk about Brad's incredible talent at
Yeah.
bringing to
Oh
life.
no,
No,
please,
Let's talk
please
about it.
don't.
No, I
characters.
think it's a good thing to talk about.
Here's the thing. Like the Ruffalo character is haunted and has demons, and we saw that with Mare.
Yep.
I see that with all your work, right? I mean, it could be alcoholism, right? It could be it's real life stuff that haunts people, and there's nothing more chilling, right, or nothing more tragic than losing a child, right? And then Mare having that character deal with that a child and suicide and the whole thing, it's just so much a part of the story and the character. And just in the trailer you see Ruffalo's torment, his internal torment. You see it, Jeremiah.
They're all tormented. Brad is big on torment. I think what's amazing about what Brad does, and he does a lot of things that are amazing, but he takes like real people, real issues, real pain, real life shit, and he puts it into a genre understanding filmically so that we can watch it. You know what I mean? I think like
Yeah.
otherwise, like Mare, you can't watch Mare without the mystery. It would just all be pain. And so what Brad does with Task is the same thing. It's like there's an engine in Task that is this crime engine. And so you're always, heart pounding action, suspense, thriller vibes. But at the core of it, I mean, at the core of what Brad does, which is what makes him so brilliant, is that they're characters that are in pain just like you and me. And they're funny just like you and me.
Right.
And they're
Right. The
ridiculous.
realism, which I love, is they're real people, right? Like you
So
see
real.
them, and that's why it works. I mean, how many stories we see about crime, and you go, all right, I get it. It's the trite character and whatever. These people leap off, and you feel like you know them.
Yeah, and people from Philly are going to recognize these people so well. Like they are
Yeah.
going to be like, these are my cousins and brothers and uncles because they're Brad's cousins and brothers and uncles. You know what I mean? He's attached them. They're his family. You can feel his blood pumping in every character.
Brett, what you did for Delaware County, it's amazing. I mean,
Oh,
what
thanks,
Mayor
guys.
did, it became an SNL skit, right? Like, I mean, it's amazing that you put Delco on the world in the world's purview. It's incredible how much of that experience is in your work. I mean, it feels like it's just all over. The fingerprints are everywhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, I grew up here because, I live right on the cusp of Delaware County. I'm actually Chester County now, but my aunts and uncles are in Broomall. My grandmother grew up I guess when I was a kid, she lived initially in the city, but then moved to Drexel Hill. So I have a lot of roots here in Delco. And I always say it's the blood in my veins. I don't write. It's almost as if I write out of laziness. It's the people I know. It's easy for me to conjure these people because I've spent my life inside these houses and churches and things like that. It's it's what I know really well, and so I think it's something where I feel like I have an authority over the characters in a way that maybe I wouldn't have if I was writing about a show in another state or
Yeah.
Florida or Miami. I just wouldn't have that experience. I don't have it in my bloodstream the way I do these places. And so I think that it gives me confidence as a writer to know or to write about a household here or a set of characters here because I know where they grew up. I know, what parish they were in. I know where they played basketball. And when you have that kind of knowledge, it gives you confidence as a writer. You feel more confident to write their backstories, to know what happened to them as kids and how it informs their issues as adults. And so I think that's what makes it so it makes it so much of a joy, is that I feel confident I can write these people. And then we get to shoot the shows here. I get to work
Right.
with Jeremiah, who grew up here. So this is a dream come true for me, man.
Well, what's funny? Like, like you could close your eyes and in your mind's eye, you could see them, the characters, peeling off the plastic covered couch, and
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes, of course.
And that's, it's so unique, and it's why I think Philadelphia is underserved in film and television. And Jeremiah,
Yep.
with Hustle, it was so much more than just a basketball story. Um,
That's because you were in it, cuz.
it was so beautifully done, and you captured the city, you captured the area, those little things. And I love the fact that you're passionate about where you come from, both of you, and that you want Philadelphia to see this, like, not the same old nonsense trite stuff that we see.
Yeah, and I think to see it in a different way. I mean, one of the things that Brad kept talking about is like color. And we kept talking, it's like a lot of times you see Philly and it looks real grim. And even though this is a crime show, it is like bright and colorful and bursting with summer. And everybody who's from Philadelphia knows Philadelphia in the summer. Like, walks through the parks, feels the colors of those murals, obviously, and those are in the DNA of the show. And I'll tell you something else, because there are areas represented in the show too. There was a South Philly character. So he's an Italian cop, and he's played by Fabian Frankel, and he is incredible. Yeah, I think you're gonna see the representation. You're gonna love it. You're gonna.
Oh, I can't wait. I was gonna ask you, where did you guys shoot? Like, what some of the areas that you could tell us where you shot it?
I mean, all over. We shot all over Delaware County. We did shoot a little bit in South Philadelphia. I'm gonna blow the names. We found one of the hero locations is a rural location about an hour outside the city. Brad, do you remember what town?
I think it's Downingtown. I think it was. Is this Robbie's house,
Yeah,
Jeremiah?
Robbie was in Downingtown.
That was Downingtown, which is
Wow.
it doesn't seem like it would be such a rural, but we found this kind of random house that was off on its own. And then we shot some quarry stuff, Jeremiah. That was in Bangor, Pennsylvania, one of them. And it was a French Creek State Park. Yeah, that was really cool. So we hopped around, cause we were sort of a lot in Delco, not as much in the city, Jeremiah. Where did we go? So we did the Roundhouse. We did Rouse, right? Wasn't that the restaurant we were in?
We were in Ralph's. That's right next to Ralph's. You know Ralph's, yeah. Right? 9th and Christian, I think. That's where you'll see it. You're going to see it. But there was this family who has a house right next to Ralph's. I think it was the family who owns Ralph's, right? It was the family. It was the family who owns, and we shot there, and their house was incredible, and they were the nicest people in the world. I'll tell you. You want to hear a funny story? Cause I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I tried to turn this off. So anyway, so we were there. We're shooting on 9th and Christian, and we're with the Bill, who was our gaffer, and it was like one of the first days. It was early on, and I came up to Bill and I said, I grew up right around here, right around the corner from here, and he kind of didn't believe me. He was kind of like, I don't know, did you really, or whatever, and he was like, Bobby, who was one of the riggers, he was like, he grew up around the corner from here too. And it sort of like testing, like to see if I was full of shit or something. And Bobby came over and he's like, where did you grow up? And I was like, I grew up, on 8th and South. And I was like, where did you grow up? And he was like, I grew up on Kamak. And he like looks at me and he's like, what's your name? And I was like, Jeremiah. I was like, my friend grew up on Kamak, John Camisa. We used to play there. And he goes, I remember you. He was, I remember you playing as a little kid around the corner. And
He had to know your father.
yeah. He was like, your dad does the murals. And he comes out, he goes, what do you do on the show? I'm the director. And he like nearly pushed me over. He was like, from the neighborhood. And he shoved me. And he was like, you're the director. It was a very sweet, it was a very sweet moment of like, you know.
I
Oh,
love it.
goodness.
That is absolutely fabulous. Brad, so tell us about, I loved your explanation about when people kept asking about the a second season of Mare, and talk about the wrestling with that nature and ultimately why you decided against it, and going kind of forth with this project, which is kind of adjacent but not a direct story.
Yeah, I think with Mare, because I think the I guess the joy of Mare was it felt like it was a very substantial emotional arc, right? Like I
Yeah.
always thought Mare was a show about a woman who wasn't able to confront the death of her son and maybe her own um, failures as a mother, right? That maybe she wasn't as present or engaged as she would have liked to have been, right? And so, and then the other side of Mare is it's a very small community, and there's this huge crime, and I think what so those two issues scared me about Mare, meaning another crime, another whodunit crime in this little town. Like, how many
Right.
people are going to be killed? It's not normal that in a smaller community like this there would be another crime. So it seemed kind of hard to believe that Mare would then be thrust into another case that involved all these people she grew up with. So on that level, I felt it's going to be tricky to replicate the mystery. And then also, what could Mare possibly be going through that could compare to the loss of a son? It would
Right.
feel everything I could conjure would feel less than to me. Whereas Task, I think, is a broader canvas. It's less specific to one community. It's not a whodunit. It's what I would call a collision course show. And so I think in that way, it's a little bit different. I like the idea of revisiting Mare in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, because then you could say, oh, I could believe another crime has happened in this town, one every
Yes.
6, 7 years.
Or you
And I
could
could
even have
also
her move
imagine,
somewhere. I mean,
yeah,
you could do anything with the character in that sense.
yep.
I love your sensibilities. Few people realize I love the fact that you thought about it so deeply, and that, because the easy thing would have been, I'll just do a second season. I'll just
Mm-hmm.
figure out a way. But you
Yep.
created such a masterpiece that it was an homage to that, to not do it yet. I love that.
Yep. Oh, thanks. No, I appreciate it. I think, it's like, you know, I think you have to do it right. It's if you're going to do something like that again, you have to do it right. And I think we all agree we didn't quite have the right idea. Now, again, if I would be
Sure.
interested in revisiting Mare, because as a writer,
Yeah.
I always say to Kate, like, I love Mare as a character because she's really funny. She's capable of doing really nasty, awful things, and yet you always are on her side. Like, as a writer, that's a great character to
Yes.
write. And so I love the idea of coming back to Mare, but we'll have to see if there's a right moment, because maybe there's a chance to bring her back at some point.
Well, and this is why you two, I love the fact that you guys are together, because it's about quality. There's so much out there, right? There's so much content, but the idea of details and storytelling, and Jeremiah, you talked about color. It's when you watch something, you need to feel it. Like, the senses need to come alive. And I watched how you work with Hustle and all your work, but with the cheesesteak thing, like the one, like little things like that, those little details create and invoke the senses, awaken the senses.
I think you'll find that with this show too. I think that people are gonna be really moved by the authenticity of the details. I think the actors were. I remember the actors just coming into the house on day one. I remember Robbie and Maeve, Tom, and Amelia, and the kids just coming in and feeling like they lived there. Like the production team had did such an amazing job that and with the details, with the costumes. I mean, it's like what the same team that did Mare in that way did this show too, and you're going to see it, you're going to feel it when you're there, and that's a testament to Brad too. It's like he's such a great guy that people want to work for him again. You know what I mean? People keep coming back to say like, all right, well, let's try to up our game, and that's the hope also from Brad and I's perspective, is that Mare was awesome, but we're trying to do more, and we're trying to do better. And that's always the goal, whether you succeed or not. I mean, that'll be up to the audience, but always trying to improve and to make something. I'm certainly trying to make something that's more exciting to me in many ways than Hustle was, or than We the Animals was. We're trying to elevate our craft every time we work. I mean, and to create a thing for the audience that feels authentic and true in the details, and sensorially, that it feels, like you can touch it, like you can reach out and touch that screen, that you can walk into those pictures and walk into those scenes, and that you can be there as well.
Brad, how was Ruffalo? How did he do with the accent?
Well, it was a little different and so at the jump, I sat down with the dialect coach, and Ruffalo's character was very loosely inspired. I say very loosely inspired by my uncle, who was an Augustinian priest who left the priesthood after like 30 some years. But my uncle has no accent, and he grew up in Drexel Hill because he went away he went away to teach in Pittsburgh, and he bounced around. And so as opposed to Mare, where it was about one community, this is a broader portrait. And so I think, so for Ruffalo, I felt like he wouldn't really have a strong accent. My uncle, he's got no accent at all. Yeah. And so we had to go character by character, and say, okay, where's this person from? Would they have an accent? And then we identified the characters who would have a strong accent. Amelia Jones has a really strong Delco accent, because we said, oh, she probably grew up in Aston or Marcus Hook.
Yeah.
We have another actress, Allison Oliver, who we also thought, oh, I think she's a Delco girl, and maybe she grew up here, and we gave her a strong accent. So it's a little bit more varied in terms of the accent, I think. But Ruffalo is the all-time best, and Jeremiah, I think he would attest. He's just the greatest actor and the greatest guy, and the same for Tom Pelphrey, who I think audiences are gonna really, really love in this show. He plays the thief, or the bad guy. I don't even know if that's the right term in the show, but he's such a great actor. He's such a compelling actor, and he's such a great guy. We just had the best time working with this cast, and that's what Jeremiah and I always said, is we just cast it at the highest level. So every day on set, there wasn't a lot. I mean, he had more to do than me. He had more to do than me, but I felt like we cast it at such a high level, because that a lot of the time we just sat back and were in awe of what the actors could do and what they could add, to the words on the page. And I'm just so grateful we got such a wonderful group of people to act in this one.
We are in Overtime OT, presented by Xfinity. That's right, our Xfinity studio. Boys, the Ruffalo, first of all, is A-list as A-list gets. He's watching him on the screen. He's such a great actor. I love that you guys got him. Will you guys connect for something else? Is there anything else that you guys might team up with?
With Ruffalo?
No, you two.
Oh, Brad and I, we're trying to make something together.
I would love to, because there's nothing I'd love to do more, man. We just got to figure out what's the next thing.
I love it.
We're working on it. I mean, but all these people, all these actors, I'd work with anybody on this crew, like, Mark, who's a producer, and Nicole, who's a producer, and Jared. Like, this was a fairy tale situation where, like, everybody on this show you would dream of working with again and again. Like, like Brad said, the actors were all amazing. And Ruffalo, as like, you know, an A-list of A-list, he led a kind of with a kind of, you know, generosity of spirit that it was infectious to the rest of our team and to the rest of the crew and to all the actors. And you know, and he was so humble about it, you know, and that was lovely too, in the same way that Brad is.
I love to hear that. That's awesome. Is there any sports reference at all? Like in a dialogue, or knowing you
Yeah,
guys,
we
and
got.
just because if you're going to do a story about Philadelphia, it would come up naturally, right? Because
Yeah.
this is such a sports town that there will be something about sports, there'll be something about Wawa. Like it's just,
True.
is there
Yeah, I
like
think the
stuff like
first.
that we'll get to know?
I think the first episode, Jeremiah, right? We got a couple shout outs in the first episode, cuz the first episode airs, I think, September 7th. And I think all Phillies fans will get a kick out of some of the references we have to the Phillies in the first. And there's a bit of a running gag with the Phillies.
You're gonna love the Phillies gag. I feel like we don't want to blow it. I feel like we don't want to blow it. You're gonna love it. It's like it's some deep trivia. There's some deep trivia in episode one. You'll appreciate it. And Brad, is it too? Are we being secretive about like doing some stuff with the sports stuff, or is that like in?
No, I think we're also trying, because I think there are some promo events that HBO's reaching out to, like. I think maybe Ruffalo's going to be in an Eagles game. I think we're talking about that, and I think maybe Ruffalo and Pelfrey are going to be at the Phillies game. I think so. We're definitely trying to partner with some of the sports teams in the area. There's a huge Rita's reference, because you'll see Rita's in there a bunch. So we tried to lean in. You know, we tried to make it authentic. We tried to lean into the area as much as possible where it fit. Of course, I didn't want to overdo it.
No, right.
But we tried to lean in. You know, where it seemed like, oh, this is a natural part. As you said, people talk about the sports all the time. It seems like this is how they talk. This is what their home lives are like. Why not lean into it and make it, you know, if there's an opportunity, embrace it.
There's a deep cut, a very important set piece. I don't know what you call it, or prop that is an Eagles prop that you will have to keep it. You'll have to, as an audience, you'll keep an eye out for it. And it dictates the course of the entire show. You'll love that. You'll love that, guys.
Oh, I love it. I cannot wait. So September 7th it debuts. Oh, that's great. That is awesome. We cannot wait to watch. Boys, so proud of you. We love what you've done in your careers, and how you make Philadelphia look, and the stories that it's so impressive. So thank you, boys, man. Proud of you guys. Much
thanks,
success.
guys.
We're going to support it every which way. You need anything, we're here to pump it up.